Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our pool draw for the Rugby Showdown. Joining me this morning, we've got our defending champion coming over from the Great South African Rugby Quiz, Jandre Hubert. Morning, Jandre.
Morning, Richard. How are you guys?
Well, thanks, and you. Well, what are you looking forward to this draw this morning? Anything in particular that's going to stand out for you that you feel that might influence your play for the year?
Yeah, well, definitely, it's a bunch of guys who definitely know rugby. Otherwise, they wouldn't be part of the Rugby Showdown. So anything goes, And if you get a tough pool draw, then you could be out of the competition right from the start. So it's definitely something to look forward to. And there were a couple of guys who were unlucky to miss out on the finals last time, so they'll definitely be who can I could still be up for it this season. So no, definitely looking forward to it.
Perfect. No, that's good to know. Well, before we get to our formalities, our ceremonial handover, your winning prize from the previous season, compliments of Retro Rugby, your one-of-a-kind Retro Springbok Rugby jersey that will be on its way to you.
Thank you very much.
Directly after our draw. Right. So let's get the formalities out of the way and get started. On the background, you will see we've got our bands that's been set up. We've got our 5 bands. We'll start with band 5, which is our lowest seeders, followed by band 4, 3, 2, and working up to our band 1, which was our finalists from the previous edition. So let's get started. And we're going to be drawing from A to B as these come out. Let's take our draw machine. Unfortunately, SuperSport has not discovered us yet, so we don't have their studio to use for this. We will be using our own makeshift studio, especially for this. So our 4 names have just gone into our draw there. As we can see. And our first name out that's going to be drawn. All the way from Scotland, we've got Timmy Hancocks. That's going to be playing in Pool A. So, Timmy, you are going to be up on the 9th of Feb in our first edition. Let's get Timmy sorted out into Pool A. Let's draw our next name out. Let's see who's next out of the pool here. All the way from PE, you will be playing on the 16th of February, Wim Skuman. Another new name to the competition that we'll see in action and see if he can upset the regular running order from season 1. Or not season 1, from the Great South African Rugby Quiz. Our next name out. a returning gentleman, Basil Castle, who will be in Pool C. So, Basil, you are going to be playing on the 23rd of Feb, starting out in Pool C.
To Basil.
Our next, that means our last name out was Emil Kotze. Emil Kotze, you are going to be up on the 2nd of March. And by that point in time, you will know exactly what to do in terms of the requirements to make the final. Right, so there we have it. First up in Pool A, we've got Timmy Hancock from Scotland. Pool B, Wim Skuman. Pool C, Basil Castle. And Pool D, Emil Kotze. So not much to say there yet, Jandre. Any comments? Anything that stands out there for you yet?
Yeah, it's still early days. Let's see what the second band brings us.
Let's see in band 4 who's going to be up for the task there. So bringing in our names into our pot. Let's give it a quite small little spin. So of course everything has been so excuse me for that. All the names have been hidden or folded off, so we can't see who we're drawing. Our first name
Richard,
out.
I just hope we don't have the same issue they had with the Champions League draw, where
No,
the names are not in the correct bands and stuff, so you have to do a redraw.
luckily, everything has been audited by myself beforehand. Our first name out, all the way from Durban, Gav Skev, the sports guru. It's a returning player, and I think he'll be up for it, taking to the pitch figuratively on the 2nd or 9th of Feb. Our next name out, going into Pool B for the 16th of Feb. Another Eastern Cape boy, Kenneth Oosthuizen, that will be making his debut along with a secondary Eastern Cape boy in Wim Skuman on the 16th of February. So far, that means Pool B is an Eastern Cape affair so far.
Yeah.
That's something interesting shaping up. Next name out of the draw. All the way from Nottingham in the UK, Adrian Slubbert, who will be competing on the 23rd of February. So Basil and Adrian so far making up Pool C. And then that means last but not least, into Pool D, we have Gerike from Robertson. So far, no Champions League mishap so far yet. In Pool A, Gav and Timmy. Pool B, we've got our Eastern Cape affair in Kenneth and Wim. Pool C, Adrian Slubbert from Nottingham and Basil Castle from the Cape. Gerike and Emil Kotze making up Pool D. Any comments so far, Jandre, or does it anything that's
Well, it's
shaping up?
interesting that Pool B is like the Eastern Cape pool, but I think Pool C is also one to watch out for.
Let's have a look. Adrian Slubbert, who played in our preseason friendly and really took it to the established guard. So, as you mentioned, Pool C could shape up to be an interesting one so far. That all depends on the following names that's going to be coming out. So, our 4 names are out in Band 3. Band 3 has just been loaded onto our makeshift draw machine. National Lottery and Supersport, please be aware for season 2, we will be requiring you guys on board here. So let's say our first name out in Pool C, in Pool A, the Brighton Miracle, returning to the quiz, Mr. Miracle, the stadium expert. So he will be joining us in Pool A.
Yeah, I would just like to say that people in Pool A will need to brush up on their stadiums because Brighton Miracle is something else when it comes to that. It's like You can just see, you can maybe just show a corner of a stadium to him and he'll know, no, that's Bath Stadium or Wasp Stadium.
Exactly that. And with the new format where you are guaranteed to receive a stadium somewhere in the quiz and being able to choose his own questions, we already know that he's going to go after the stadiums and build up his points there.
Definitely.
Pool B. Next out in Pool B, another strong contestant, Davin Beryl. So still making it a Cape affair, not just Eastern Cape, but now and Western Cape affair. Pool B, we've got Davin Beryl, Kenneth Oosthuizen, and Wim Skuman making up the ranks so far. Going into Pool C, next name out. Oh, shaping up to be a classic, JW Kutsia.
Yeah.
So Pool C already showing potential to become a pool of death or very, very
Definitely.
tough pool for that evening. That means our last name out. Going into Pool D, we have Niku de Toey, making up a very strong Pool D already.
The people in Pool C must just send JW a couple of bottle of brandies. Then they can soften him up with those.
I agree with you there. That could actually be a very good tactic to take into account. Adrian and Basil, if you are watching the feed, just remember that that will be your play. Um, I think JW will also appreciate the gesture. We've got some of our contestants joining us from Band 2. That's live this morning, following us in the comment section. Morning there, Rugby Chats with Angus, as well as Xavier. Good morning, gentlemen. This is actually going to be your draw next in Band 2. We've got Jacques de Blanche. Sorry about that, gents. Jacques de Blanche, Rugby Chats with Angus, Xavier, and Dylan Jack from SA Rugby Mag. Another strong band over here coming up. And this could start determining where things are going to get interesting.
Definitely.
So if we get our names into our draw, all four names have gone into our draw machine, our makeshift draw machine. Let's give it a little spin at the moment. And let's get going. Our first name out, joining the Brighton Miracle, Gavin and Timmy in Pool A, Xavier Murray.
Yeah.
So Xavier going into Pool A, and you will be up first off on the 9th of Feb. Making things very interesting in Pool A. We've got so far Xavier Murray, the Brighton Miracle, Gavin, and Timmy. Of course, we've got our seeded player that still needs to be drawn to give us the final figures there. Next out, going into Pool B on the 16th of Feb, Dylan Jack. Still keeping it an all Cape affair.
Staying in the Western Cape. Yeah.
So far, it's still an all Cape affair, a Western versus Eastern Cape in form of Dylan Jack, Davin Beryl, Kenneth Oosthuizen, and Wim Skuman. So next one could be interesting in terms of our Pool C, which is shaping up to be a pool of death. The next name out. Oh, this is getting interesting. Rugby Chats with Angus, who cleaned up on our preseason tournament. So he's joining his other three preseason opponents, which means Adrian and JW. Revenge has been lined up already in Pool C on the 23rd of February. It's already shaping up to be a very, very interesting pool coming up on the 23rd. And that means the last name out going into Pool D, it's Jacques de Blanche.
Very, very strong opponent.
Very strong opponent. I think Jacques is already licking his lips down there on the West Rand and looking at this and thinking he's going to love this. So before we move on to our band number 1, which is going to be interesting, Jandre, because this is going to show you're going to come into play here as well. Anything that stands out to you so far as going to be interesting?
Well, Pool
already?
C still definitely. I think Pool C is the pool of death.
I
Pool
agree with
D,
you.
I tend to agree with what Xavier is saying there. Jacques is a very strong guy, but listen, anything can happen in the rugby showdown. You can see how Angus improved during pre-season. I know it's only pre-season, but sometimes you can take that pre-season form into the league phase. So definitely very exciting.
That's true. And of course, we still need to find out who's going to be the four seeded players that our gentlemen so far will be facing. So let's get those names out. So our names are out into our draw. And let's give it a quick spin. And take it from there. Angus, who's already gonna go start studying. He's leaving it now. He's already gonna start practicing, knowing that he needs to up his game for the pool of death. Right, first out into pool A. All the way from Robertson, Shauno, who's going to be kicking off pool A, which means he's going to have strong competition in form of Xavier, the Brighton Miracle, Gavin, and Timmy. So, Sean, a word of advice for you. We know you despise the jersey section. I would say start studying those stadiums. So, making up pool A, we've got Shauno, Xavier Murray, the Brighton Miracle, Gavin, and Timmy Hancock from Scotland. Next up, going into pool B at the moment. This will be joining our All Cape affair and keeping it an All Cape affair. It's the David Hasselhoff of German rugby joining them there. Your final opponent from the last edition, William Solomon. So William will be in action on the 16th of Feb, taking on Dylan Jack, David Beryl, Kenneth Oosthuizen, and Wim Skuman. Right, let's see who's going to be making up Pool C, if it's really going to be shaping up to be our pool of death. Andre Giel. So I agree with you. This is going to be a pool of death and a rematch opportunity from our last preseason friendly, as we will have rugby chats with Angus, JW, Adrian, and Andre Giel having a chance to take a rematch against each other. And Andre Giel, who would definitely be ready to get some revenge on the gentleman. And that means Jeandre, strange enough, the last name out. So you will be joining Pool D, waiting last but not least to make your appearance on the Rugby Showdown. So you'll be taking to the field on the 2nd of March. You'll be facing off against Jacques de Blanche, Nico de Toey, Gerike, and Emil Kotze. All right, so let's quickly get your opinion before we finish our stream for this morning. Any opinions on the field so far?
Well, I was hoping to not face Jacques, but well, I'll definitely have to up my game because Jacques is definitely knows his stuff. Pool C, definitely the pool of death. We'll definitely lose one or two brilliant guys there. I think Pool B is the one that's a bit more most open to me. I think any one of the guys can take it there. And then Pool A is also very exciting. So no, I'm definitely looking forward to the season.
Awesome, great. So we'll post it on our group so far and post the official seedings online. And let's get going on the 9th of Feb. Looking forward to it, John Ray.
Okay, Richard, thanks. And again, thank you for all the trouble you go through to organize all of this for us. We really thoroughly enjoyed the first season and looking forward to the new one. And yeah, we'll definitely get the word out there, get more people watching. And then, yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll be on SuperSport next year.
Yeah, let's hope so. Thanks for your time, John Ray, and enjoy your morning.
Thanks, Richard. Cheers.
Yes.